Hi guys, Nada here, and today I'm going to talk about the brand new laptop from MSI. So this is the Prestige 15. As you can guess, this is a 15-inch laptop that is actually ultra thin and ultra light. It weighs only 1.6 kilograms, but don't let it fool you. It actually packs some serious specs in this tiny little light shell. So these laptops come with the latest 10th generation of Intel Core CPUs. They come with a GTX 1650 Max-Q to support some editing applications and some light gaming. They come with a 4K Adobe RGB screen and some actually quality of life improvements, like now they have a charger that has USB Type-C, which is actually quite cool. All of the Prestige 15 laptops have the same CPU and the same GPU, but the rest of the specs can actually vary depending on your region and on your budget. Now, this particular model costs 1,800 euros here in the Netherlands, and it has 16 gigabytes of RAM, and it has a 1 terabyte SSD as well as a 4K screen. Now, you can get a model that has more RAM, for example, or if you're going for a cheaper option, you can get the one that has a full HD screen and a smaller SSD. Now, let's see how this laptop performs and how it compares to some of the other laptops that I've reviewed before. Let's go! This video is brought to you by the Corsair iQ465X RGB case that offers solid performance but also a lot of RGB, as it comes with 3 LL120 addressable RGB fans and an RGB controller by default. Check it out using the links in the description below. Now, this Prestige 15 laptop has a very sleek design. It is made almost completely out of metal and it does feel sturdy. I do have to say it's not really the Dell XPS quality, but keep in mind the Dells are much heavier. The surface is very smooth and sleek, but it doesn't really like fingerprints, though it is easy enough to wipe it clean. The hinge feels great, and so does the panel itself when you lift it. At 1.6 kilos, as I mentioned already, it is very light and very portable. The charger that it comes with, it's nice and small, and it's nice to see MSI upgrading to the Type-C charging, which works on both Type-C Thunderbolt ports on the side of the laptop. That means if you have a proper dock, you can connect your screen, your peripherals, and charge your laptop with one cable. On the same side, you will get a full-sized HDMI port and an audio jack, and on the other side we see 2 Type-A USB 3.2 Gen 2 ports and a mini SD card reader. So overall connectivity is pretty decent for a machine as thin as this. On the inside, MSI has a slightly larger touchpad that uses precision drivers and actually works really well. The palm rejection works really well, and it also has a fingerprint scanner in the corner that supports Windows Hello. I also like the little blue glow that the edges give, but overall, which is important, I actually prefer this touchpad over the one that the Dell XPS 15 has. The backlit keyboard is decent as well. The keys are fairly large and the travel of the keys is relatively short. Now, there is a tiny bit of a wobble on the keys, but it's actually a very easy keyboard to get used to and gives a decent tactile feedback without being loud or flexing much in the middle. I do think I still prefer the Dell keyboard here, but overall, the combination of the keyboard and the touchpad on this Prestige 15 make for a very pleasant experience. Now, the standout feature is definitely the 4K IPS display. You can instantly tell it's a quality IPS panel with nice colors, nice contrast, and good viewing angles, and I have to say I really like the bezels being nice and thin. It is very easy on the eyes for work, and at the same time it looks great to make or consume content on. Now, you can also lay it flat if you want, but I have to say I'm not really sure how useful that really is. MSI claims they calibrate each display individually, and the results are really solid. Adobe and sRGB color calibration profiles, which you can swap between using MSI software, both show solid color accuracy as well as very accurate white balance. The contrast is excellent for an IPS panel, and the peak brightness of 423 nits is better than most laptops out there, though there are some alternatives that go even brighter. Now, the only real nitpick I have here is that the gamma value in the sRGB mode is too low and looks a bit off. It is actually quite fine in the Adobe RGB mode. Now, the majority of people actually work in sRGB, so if you cannot manually calibrate it, you're probably better off just leaving it on the Adobe RGB setting. Now, as expected, the 6-core 10th generation CPU is performing really well, especially if you compare it to the MSI PS63, for example, that still has a 4-core 8th generation CPU, or even to my old Dell XPS 15 that has an i7 7700HQ that was actually a high-end CPU but 2 years ago. It really shows that laptop CPUs have become a lot more powerful, both due to extra cores and faster individual cores. So basically, you will have plenty of power here to do some serious creative work, including video editing. Now, gaming is a bit of a mixed experience here. The GTX 1650 Max-Q is a decent entry-level GPU, and it will let you run plenty of games. Now, the games like World of Warcraft, Rainbow Six Siege, Fortnite, CSGO, and plenty of others will work completely fine, especially if you play on 1080p, which you should. You shouldn't really try to run it on 4K. However, don't really expect to run some AAA titles. Some games like Division 2 or Assassin's Creed Odyssey struggle even at Full HD medium settings. Of course, you can play it on 720p, but if you're serious about gaming on a laptop, you should just get a slightly heavier model that includes a better GPU, or, since MSI offers a 4-lane Thunderbolt connection, you can hook up an external GPU to this laptop. Now, while the fans definitely get a bit loud when gaming, the CPU and GPU temperatures usually don't get much over 80 degrees Celsius, which is completely fine. Now, this laptop is quiet in most day-to-day tasks too, so thermal and noise performance is not something that you should really worry about. I also really like the fact that the Prestige 15 is actually very easy to maintain and upgrade. After removing the bottom cover, you can easily clean the fans, you can replace the battery if you want to, you can access both memory modules, and you can even add a second M2 SSD, which is actually pretty rare on notebooks this size and a great plus over the Dell XPS one. You can easily replace the Wi-Fi chip as well if you want to, but you probably wouldn't have to since this laptop comes with a Wi-Fi 6 and Bluetooth 5 by default. The battery life is reasonable but not exceptional. Now, MSI claims up to 16 hours, but they also say that's for the Full HD model, which I don't have. For my testing, I set the PC to Eco mode, using MSI's very handy software that actually lets you tune and optimize your PC quite a bit. So, in Eco mode, with Wi-Fi on, keyboard backlight off, and display set to 180 nits, I ended up just under 6 hours of mixed workloads, or around 8.5 hours when I stick to light tasks like typing, browsing, and watching a few videos. And that is fine and a full day for most people, but I do have to say I do get more time out of my Dell XPS 15. The speakers on the laptop are fine but not exceptional, and you cannot really expect more out of a thin laptop like this. And the same goes for the webcam. It is perfectly fine for an occasional video chat, just don't use it for any serious recording. So overall, the MSI Prestige 15 is actually a very nice laptop, especially if you don't mind spending a bit more to get something so thin and so light that can actually do everything except for AAA gaming. Now, usually when you look at laptops that have this format and these specs, to-go laptop was the Dell XPS 15, and MSI here is giving us a very solid alternative that is actually costing hundreds of euros less. So overall, this is a very, very attractive package that you should look into if you're looking for a laptop like this. Now, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments down below what do you think about this laptop and about this review. Don't forget to subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and yeah, see you next one. Bye!